Good evening and happy Friday to one and all, and welcome back to another video. Everything I talk about is my opinion. It's not financial advice. Please do your own research and let's jump into it. Okay, so we'll start with the market. I've not looked at this properly for the last few days. Bizarrely, Bitcoin is exactly where it was 24 hours ago, apparently according to CoinMarketCap. Everything is, again, we're back to moving sideways now, and there's going to be this is a point where we will just seem to break up or break down after a few days of sideways movement. EOS is up slightly. What's the big gainers of 24 hours? Hello, I still need to make a video on this and why the price keeps rising. Something I need to look at, and whether it's something I may look to invest in. There's just so many projects to look at, it's never enough time. What's the biggest losses? Bugra coin, not already heard of that. That is a massive supply. Not too sure about that. Factum, again, I've spoken about this before. It seems to just go up and then down and up again, and its price seems to just hover around $7-8. 24-hour volume is 15 billion. Again, not massively high. Bitcoin dominance has kind of remained around 52.5%, and market cap is still around $119 billion. I just want to quickly look at that market. So $3,591 for Bitcoin, still hovering around at $3,500, $3,600. You kind of need to break out of this 3,600 and move into why did I click on markets? $3,700. If you look at the last 7 days, this is where we were, and obviously we plummeted, and we are just now moving sideways. Where is our break point? Is $3,548. So that's our resistance now. Well, new resistance. We need to get above 3,006, obviously, and then we need to get past this 3,007. So anyway, let's start with my first article. Shock claim: Ripple XRP market cap massively lower than advertised. Okay, we'll talk about this at some level, and let's see what these people have got to say. Researchers claim Ripple's market cap is just 6.9 billion. Okay, so where would that put Ripple? That would put Ripple, I think, third still. I mean, not still, but it would put it third. So yeah, I mean, Bitcoin Cash is 2.2 billion. That will knock it down there. Okay. That's the bold thesis of a new report from crypto research firm Messari, which alleges that Ripple's circulating market cap, the combined value of all liquid XRP tokens, is significantly overstated on the vast majority of crypto data services and exchanges, perhaps as much as 46%. According to Messari, Ripple's circulating market cap is just $6.9 billion, which would make it the third largest cryptocurrency behind Bitcoin, 62 billion, and Ethereum. That paints a vastly different picture from the one available on most third-party crypto data feeds. CoinMarketCap, which ranks among the 500 most visited websites in the world, according to Alexa, estimates that the value of XRP circulation is little over 13 billion. Well, it's about 12 now. CoinGecko, another crypto data service, pegs it slightly lower, but still well above the 12.9 billion mark. CCN's market cap page, which is based on data from TradingView, lists it right around this mark as well. All three services rank as the second largest cryptocurrency. So what they think, actually. So billions of XRP are falsely included in circulating supply. So what accounts for this discrepancy? Messari alleges that the Ripple company, which is closely associated with its own majority XRP, does not provide accurate market information through its XRP data API. So what they're looking at, so they have escrowed 52.5 billion, which is correct on their estimates. They have estimated a restricted of 25.7 billion as opposed to Ripple's idea of 6.5 billion, and circulating supply is obviously then affected. You've got Messari's estimate of 21.8 billion. and you've got the, Ripple's circulating supply on CoinMarketCap, which is obviously 41. So obviously simple maths, you would do 21.8 billion times 31.32 cents, and then I'm assuming it's going to give you 6.9 billion, and similarly 41 billion times 32 will give you a 12.3 billion. More specifically, researchers claim that in addition to the 59 billion XRP that Ripple owns, most of it which is held in escrow, but some of it which is available for restricted sales, the company has distributed billions of XRP to people or organizations who have agreed to contractual restrictions on selling them. While some of the agreements have been disclosed, co-founder Jeb McCaleb Vasari alleges that the others have not. Altogether, as much as 19.2 billion XRP worth 6.1 billion may have been inaccurately included in Ripple's circulating supply. Okay. Why Ripple's alleged market cap inflation matters. To be sure, market cap itself is a conventional metric. One of the unscrupulous developers can use to make their crypto token appear more valuable than they really are. However, for all its flaws, market cap remains the simplest and most convenient way to rank the assets within the cryptocurrency economy, especially for outsiders who want a bird's eye view of the ecosystem. Okay, so there's a bit more to this article for you active. Okay, so let's just start with something simple. First of all, let's look at 24-hour volume for the market. Obviously, Bitcoin is supposedly the highest with 5.3 billion, and then XRP is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th with 368 million, which is not that high, but considering the fact that its price is a lot lower than the five ahead of it, that's not bad. I mean, EOS is 647 million, but its price is what 8 times more than XRP. So technically, you should have an 8 times price. So that should be, let's say it's 300 million. That should be 2.4 billion. So in comparison, its circulating supply is quite good if you look at its actual value. Now, is this article trying to trying to be negative on XRP? If you scrutinize anything enough, you will find flaws. Now, for example, if we take, for example, Bitcoin, and let's look at Bitcoin in detail. Bitcoin has a market cap of 62 billion, and it has a circulating supply of 17 billion, obviously max supply of 21 billion. Now we know from information and news articles and whatnot that there's around 3 or 4 billion coins that have been lost due to people losing their private keys, throwing away hard drives, and just forgetting about them and no idea how to access them. So let's just say that's down to 3 billion, and that obviously knocks down the circulating supply to 18 billion. 18 million Bitcoin. Then you can take, for example, companies or individuals who hold almost like escrow, who hold Bitcoin to not sell for 20 years. Let's say the Winklevoss brothers, who maybe own between 100 and 300,000 Bitcoin. Is that price reflected in this? And do people criticize Bitcoin, or not necessarily Bitcoin, Ethereum, or other ones? And let me get this straight. I'm very much invested in XRP. I'm very much invested in Bitcoin. I'm very much invested in Ethereum. I'm very much invested in EOS. So I don't have any, for transparency's sake, I don't have any reasons to talk negatively about Bitcoin or negatively about XRP or whatever. I don't like to talk negatively about projects which are trying to do something. I only talk negatively about projects which are scams. So let's just get this straight. I'm not trying to be negative on Bitcoin or positive on XRP. I'm just trying to be transparent and fair, just like this article should be. And this article actually doesn't actually, I don't think it actually goes on to mention anything else about any other cryptocurrency. So now, if we're talking already, the supply of Bitcoin is probably down to 17 million. We would then have a different figure of Bitcoin, and it doesn't take much to work out what that would be. So if we worked it out, it would be a few billion less. So it would be 59,500,000,000. So you're already around just over 2.5-3 billion less than its actual market cap on coin market cap. You could do the same thing. Obviously, the figure's not going to vary as much as XRP, because the actual circulation supply is obviously a lot lower than XRP. The circulation supply of Bitcoin was only over 21 million, whereas with XRP, I think it's around 100 billion. Yeah, so it's around 99 billion. So we can already criticize Bitcoin or coin market cap. I shouldn't say Bitcoin; it's not Bitcoin's fault. We can criticize coin market cap for their not displaying the correct prices, but then we would be criticizing people all the time. Now, we had a time in 2017 where XRP hit an all-time high of $3.60 something, and then for some reason coin market cap adjusted all the pricing, because it was stating that a lot of the Asian markets, and I think more notably some of the South Korean exchanges, were overpricing XRP. For example, they were, where you would buy XRP for $3.60, it would be costing you $4 on a Korean exchange. Now, they may be using a truer value of XRP at the time, or they may be working out slightly differently. So obviously, the prices were removed from XRP, and then obviously XRP price then changed, or its valuation changed. And some people say that obviously if it had continued, then we could have seen XRP at number one spot. Now, we don't know what angle coin market cap is coming from. We don't know what angle this article is coming from, but it's easy to pick holes on a project, but we can pick holes in all projects. And ultimately, what is the point of this article? Is it to take a dig at XRP? Because all I can see from XRP is it's a fantastic company. It's pushing forward. It's got innovation, and it's got loads of partners, and it's got real world solutions. Now, ultimately, why are we in a crypto game? We're in a game to ultimately make money. I mean, if everybody, the technology is fantastic, blockchain idea is brilliant. There's so many blockchain projects out there, but people out there do prefer these two because they're number one and number two, and obviously Ethereum and EOS and other cryptocurrencies that have great projects, and that's why they're in the top 10. I don't see how this is going to benefit the project, apart from the fact that these people are maybe pro Ethereum or pro Bitcoin, because obviously XRP again has taken spot number 2 in the ranking, and according to this should be spot number 4. Oh, sorry, it should be spot number 3, not 4. It should be spot number 3. Are they just trying to undermine it by promoting Ethereum? I don't know. It doesn't actually mention anything else in this article than just XRP. Doesn't help us move forward. Yes, of course, this point is very, very valid about people overvaluing their currency or their supply to push the price up. I'm sure that goes on. I don't think that's what the company Ripple are doing. They seem to have enough backing. They seem to have enough funds. They seem to have enough support that they don't need to do that. It's all created by the work they're doing, the actual real world solutions they're doing. We know if we compare what XRP currently are doing now compared to what Ethereum are currently doing now, I think XRP rightly serves as position number 2. You can then argue the work that XRP or Ripple are doing now compared to Bitcoin, who should truly be number one? And obviously on market cap, it's Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is king. But I don't know if this is a way to keep it as XRP number 2 and number 3, because one day, possibly, in my opinion, we will see Bitcoin dethroned. It's going to happen. We can't have a long-running cryptocurrency number 1 which suffers a lot of stuff unless Bitcoin completely takes over, where gold takes over, and is completely on a different stratosphere compared to all the others. But it looks like on this sort of basis that at some point XRP will be number 1, regardless of escrow or no escrow, or coins which are held by people like Jed McCaleb, who is not allowed to sell them for a number of years or so, whatever the agreement was. It'll be way past that. What do you guys think? Am I making a big deal about this? Is this article got any relevance or any base to what it's saying, or is it just potentially a XRP hater? Let me know what you think. Let me know your comments, and let's move on. Ethereum-based scam revenue more than doubled in 2018 report. So again, something to be aware of, everyone. The value of Ethereum stolen via scams reached $36 million in 2018, according to a report released by crypto analytics company Chain Analysis on Jan 23rd. According to the Chain Analysis report, scams that occurred last year were reportedly more sophisticated, bigger, and vastly more lucrative. Chain Analysis also reports that Ethereum has a long been known as a cryptocurrency of choice of scammers. So let's look down here. Actually, this is more important. From late 2016 to the end of 2018, the report found that over 2,000 Ethereum scam addresses received funds from almost 40,000 unique users. The report also states that nearly 75% of this scam activity happened in 2018. So there's a chart if you're not looking at it, and you've got 2017, and you've got in black is a bar for number of people scammed, and it's just under investments of under 10 million, and in yellow or orange you've got revenue of scammers, and you've got just over 20 million, and in 2018 it's almost doubled to just over 30 million, and probably what it sees about 40 million. The common types of scams involving ETH, as Chain Analysis reports, are ICOs, exit scams, Ponzi schemes, and phishing attacks, the last of which accounted for over 88% of scam profits in 2017. Infection scams that involved ETH are reportedly less common, making up 3.8% of 2017 scam revenue. So you've got a chart here of most profitable scams in 2018 and 2017. So unfortunately in 2018, as all ICOs was second placed, and phishing was the top. You've got the Ponzi's and you've got the good old scams. Again, it's just something to be aware of, that this stuff is still going to go on, and like I mentioned in another video, the more hype we get around crypto, and once we move into a bull market again, we will see a lot of these return, and I'm sure they still exist. And please always research and look at what is being put in front of you. If it's too good to be true, it generally is. If people are, the very common scammers you see, you've even got people like Vitalik Buterin saying on Twitter, not giving away Ethereum, is I'll send me 0.1 of a Ethereum and I will double it back to you. And people fall for that. People do. If you look at the address they're asking to send to, people are depositing money into that. Now, whether the people see that and somehow think that they're going to get returns back, people fall for, they lose money that way. And I don't know if this article actually consider that as phishing, but that's another way where people do fall for it. So, no one's going to give you away free Ethereum, and it's certainly not going to be Vitalik Buterin. The other one is obviously ICOs through ETH, and obviously ETH was the choice because of the ERC20 platform, and a lot of obviously cryptos that we had created in 2017, 2018 were on the back of ETH, so they obviously accepted ETH. Please do your research into projects you're investing in. Even if you're investing $50, or 100 or even more of $1,000, look at what you're investing. Nobody wants to lose any money. And we invest in Bitcoin and XRP or in the good projects because we expect a rise, and we have a good history of data to look at and analysis. Don't move into projects which promise you the world and deliver nothing. Often the ones which are talking about 8% returns every day, or this much money, or this much better. And that was exactly what BitConnect was all about. It was all about people promoting these coins on social media and claiming that they had just made 2 Bitcoin today. And I'm thinking, how are they possibly making 2 Bitcoin in one day? For me, it's easy to say this, and it's easy to go off and say, yep, there's a scam, but not everybody knows this. And I certainly don't want anyone to get scammed. I don't want anyone to leave the market. I want everybody flooding into the market, because crypto is a beautiful place to be, and it's not full of scammers. So please do your research. Please don't get scammed. If you're not sure, please do research. Message me or message any other YouTuber who's a good crypto YouTuber, and definitely ones who speak the truth, and they will try and help you as much as they can. And again, obviously, we're not going to give you any sort of financial advice, but only lend you the opinion of what we would think about this investment and whether we would invest. In the whole of my whole time of being invested in cryptocurrencies, I have invested in a total of 2, 3 ICOs, and there's been thousands. That's it. And I've seen so many come past me, so many come through me, so many things I've read about which I didn't quite feel right about. So yeah, please do your research, and we don't want your money to be on this 36 million. We don't want anybody's money to be with people who don't deserve it. So as always, please do your research, and let's move on. I'm going to breeze over this one. 40% of investors say blockchain could be the most transformative tech since the internet. Well, that's pretty obvious, but let's have a read. 40% of institutional investors believe blockchain may be the most important innovation since the internet, according to a survey by trade association, the Global Blockchain Business Council. Now, I don't want to read. I kind of more want to talk about this article because we know what it's going to say. We expect this to be the best thing since sliced bread, and really it is. I mean, if you look at the blockchain idea, it's technically, in a sense, it's a very simple idea, but it's the most robust you have for integrity and data gathering and data sharing and data distribution. And internet is all about data, and data is very, very important to the world because it's how we move. It's how markets move. It's how individuals move. It's how we learn. It's how we look back and start making mistakes. So data is very important. And you've got something which is a ledger which never can be corruptible as long as it's something like Bitcoin or something which is strong enough. It has integrity. It's almost impenetrable. It's been running for 10 years strong and has had any vulnerabilities or hacks. And you compare it to the internet, and you understand what the internet was originally. Internet was originally invented in universities or military, and it was a conglomerate or a network of PCs to share data. And then it got larger and larger and larger. And that's exactly what Bitcoin was, or cryptocurrency was initially created for. It was maybe 2 people sending a payment who had a ledger on either side, and then someone else joined the network, and somebody else joined, and slowly it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So if we look back in 50 years, and we were comparing the two, and obviously you couldn't have the blockchain without the internet. It would be very difficult to create a network like that. But blockchain will be up there, but side by side with the internet in 30, 40, 50, 60 years time, or 100 years time. It's the most important innovation we've had since the internet, especially for tech, especially for data, especially for integrity. Nobody can hide from the blockchain. You can't hide data, as in payments, transactions, whatever. If we take, for example, Bitcoin or Ethereum, obviously there are a lot of privacy coins. They have their own uses, But the idea behind simplicity of the blockchain, but the complexity of what it brings you. You've got not only data grid, then you've got smart contracts, then you've got the fast transactions, you've got low fees. There isn't anything that I can think of that even comes close to the importance that we have in our hands now. And it's for us not to destroy it, basically. We've only got to innovate on the blockchain. You think about how internet started, and you had dial-up, and I would sit there and you'd have this horrible noise connecting, and data speeds were around 5 kilobytes per second, and downloading a game demo of 12 meg would take about 2 hours. And now where do we sit? We have internet connections in the UK which are 350 meg plus in around 25 years. We've got there, and imagine how we will move with blockchain. We're already moving fast forward of what blockchain can do and where the solutions are. We will just keep pushing forward with this, and look back at these articles and look back at the difficult times we've had, and almost it'll become part of history where we had people trying to manipulate the pricing. We had people trying to see if they could break the blockchain. And the blockchain is going to solve a lot of world issues. It's just that we haven't necessarily thought of all of them just yet or conceived them, but they will come. And just like how the internet and Internet 2.0 evolved, blockchain will evolve as well. Nobody expected Facebook or YouTube or Wikipedia or even websites like NASA or Google Maps to come about because of the internet. And that's what's going to happen with cryptocurrency. There's so much potential there for us to innovate. We just need the right people and the right support. As long as countries get behind us, there's no stopping it, and it's only going to serve the world better purpose as long as it's used for the right reasons. So what do you guys think about that? Good way to end. Something positive for the weekend. Let me know what your thoughts are. Please like and subscribe. And let me know if there's anything else you guys want to know or anything else you want me to talk about. But have a lovely weekend, and I'll see you on the next video. Goodbye.